afternoon. We have it's an OE GM shaft for a 72 big block El Camino. It was a stick car, 4-speed car, and it's now converted to a turbo 400. It's for Danny's Auto. It's for one of their customers. It's kind of peculiar. I actually know this car. It used to belong to a friend of mine that's no longer with us. In the 70s and the 80s, up until the time he passed, I've actually burned rubber in this car when it was a 4-speed. So now it's shortened down. This is the OE shaft that was in it. It's shortened down to 57 3/4 center to center, and it's got a turbo 400 in it. One of the boutique is what I call them, from the hot rod turbo 400 transmission shops, and they're using short tail housing turbo 400 truck transmissions, for lack of a better term. People will argue with this, but that's what their origins were. And it's my belief, honestly, that all the long tail housing turbo 400s in the world are used up. So that's what people can get. And there's a fitment problem with the slip yokes on these things because they are originally designed to be a short fixed yoke bolted into the transmission. And now they're trying to run them as a slip yoke style. So I have developed like a pattern of just making sure that the slip yoke is optimized to the best that it can be for these cars, because there's not very much slip yoke to start with. There's only like 3 5/8. That's the medium length one, and there's one shorter than that. So of slip available, of the ground hub diameter where the seal rides. And this one is that way. It's 3 5/8 long and counterboard on the end, and they don't exist, so I modify them and make them that way. This one's mechanics 3R because availability problems, but that's good too, because that was a correct GM joint back in the day. So I shortened it up. I did clean it up because I could see some wonky stuff going on back here when I put it between centers, just to make sure it was fundamentally straight. And it had a weirdo 30 thousandths hook, like from here back, which is not unusual. A lot of these cars burned a lot of rubber, and the swedge down tubings kind of got out of whack to each other, and they weren't honestly that great to start with. So I straightened that, and we got it tuned up now. It's got a pair of snap tights in it. You could say that this thing is fully massaged from tip to tip, basically, from end to end. So we'll crank her up. That's 3,000 RPM, 0 at the transmission, dead flat 0, 0 at the rear axle. I'm gonna put some paint on this and get it back to Jay so we can get it back in the El Camino. They can continue burning rubber in another decade.